Hello, this is an Ocarina of Time Bingo Bootcamp, short tutorial showcasing the top 5 essential tricks, in my opinion, that are essential to completing your first bingo. This doesn't assume you know any prior tricks. I'm going to try to do the beginner-friendly version of a lot of tricks and sort of explain them and give references as I go. So, what is bingo? Bingo is a way to play the game, an RTA speedrunning type thing where you have a 5x5 board like this, hide it for now and we'll talk about it later, of generated goals where you need to complete a row, column, or a diagonal. So even though every single bingo board is different, often they will start in similar ways and you'll do similar setup. And so that's what this bootcamp is mostly going to cover. What I think are the 5 essential tricks to cover so that you can successfully complete a bingo row. So the very first thing I'm doing is collecting the sword and some of the rupees in this maze. In general, the movement I do is not super important to follow. It's simply a model or a reference that you could use for this. We're also going to want the Deku Shield, which requires 40 rupees. Because the very first trick that I have on my list here is to escape the forest. And to do that, I'm going to use a method that just needs a sword, but we're also going to want the shield for the second trick on my list. So we will get 40 rupees for that. If you are having trouble collecting rupees, you can enter something and re-exit to reload the stone rupees or the other 5 rupees that I got. Alright, so we got the Deku Shield, and now we're going to make our way out of the forest. There are multiple ways to escape the forest. The one I'm going to show is the most beginner-friendly, but I will include lots of references in the description for various methods to do things. You're going to want that blue rupee, and you're going to make your way over to these vines up the Lost Woods. The other way to escape the forest is mostly through that exit, the normal exit there, by getting past the guard. You can look up OoT Escape for tutorials that go that way. But we're going to go through the Lost Woods. You can already tell that I've been doing some basic movement, such as backwalking, by holding target and backwards. That's a fast way to cross large gaps. We're going to head over to this area. And so normally you need the silver scale to dive down to exit through that loading zone. But we're going to do something called a Navi dive up here. So from either side you can jump up and grab this ledge. Don't touch anything until you see Navi's icon pop up in the top right. Just like that. Then you're going to want to spam B and C up to get Navi. And then you're going to sort of dive here. Press B or something to close the thing and swim into the loading zone. Next thing, and the last major thing we're going to do as a child, is get a bottle. So there are 2 bottles that are commonly gotten in bingo. You can either go down the river, grab the chicken, go right back up and get the silver scale and Gerudo's letter, or you can go to Kakariko and collect the chickens to get a bottle, which is what I'm going to do. It's generally faster and more commonly seen. You can spam the B button in the water here to get pushed a little bit further and swim faster in the current. Collecting the rupees, you want to have at least 20 rupees here. Not essential, but we will be buying something shortly. So just backwalk over to Kakariko. There is a way to do a faster way to get Kakariko through what's called a water extended super slide, but it's not essential. Just take our cozy way over here. In general, my principle with this tutorial will be to simply give the essentials, to not do some of the embellishments and other minor time saves that aren't critical to progressing in the bingo. So here we are in Kakariko, and we have to collect these 7 chickens to get a bottle. There are tutorials on how to do this as well, but don't worry too much about it. You can just follow any VOD. It's a very common thing in other categories to collect these chickens. That's the other main benefit I see to bingo, is that it sort of prepares you for other RTA categories by slowly teaching you the tricks that you need to know and can apply elsewhere. Because you have different choices for your row, you can pick goals, or you can find a suitable route for you that doesn't require a large knowledge base. My hope or claim is that you can simply follow the steps here, get yourself set up in the right way, and hopefully be able to complete at least one row on each bingo board. There are other variants of bingo which are more suited for beginners. There's a short card which only has child-friendly goals. There's also a beginner bingo and a 4x4 variant, which are all shorter if you're looking for a smaller investment. Typically a bingo takes somewhere between an hour and a half to 2 hours and a half for a beginner. Top players are able to get it in about an hour, 10, 15 minutes. But if you're starting out, I think the first major thing on your mind should really just be, do I know the basic things to complete the bingo? In every single bingo, there will be something that you don't know to start. There are close to 200 plus goals, but really it just comes down to figuring out what each goal requires. And we'll talk about that more with the Master Sword cutscene. So let's collect these last Cuccos. That guy sometimes gets stuck behind the well if you throw it in a weird way, but talk to the lady once they're all safely inside the pen. And we will have the bottle, one of the holy items of Ocarina of Time. So, bottles can of course carry contents such as fish, bugs, fairies, pose, but they are also essential for a number of the tricks in this game, including future tricks in this essential list. Alright, so as we exit Kakariko, our goal is to make it into the castle, even though it's about to turn night. So you can do a few rolls down to this area here, do a side hop, and we're going to skip talking to the owl by targeting that sign. Okay, so now we have to make sure that we are not facing the drawbridge and chains as we backwalk to the castle. So the bridge is going to start rolling up, but it's no longer cold, it's no longer visible. And if we target this, do a couple side hops, then once the bridge is cold, or no longer cold, it'll reload and snap back up. So that's a way to make it into the market even after it turns night. And you know what, if you don't make that, it's okay. It's probably going to be a minute and a half until morning. So our last errand as a child is to buy a shield. It's closed at night, so you can climb this grate and do a jump slash, not very precise, into the shop. This is another nice reason to have the Kokiri sword. And buy the Hylian shield. Shield is going to be another important ingredient to our adult experience. And with that, that's all we need before we go adult. If you don't get a shield there, it's also okay. There is a shield in the graveyard as adult that you can get. What's really important is you have a bottle. Alright, so now we get to do one of the most well-known tricks in Ocarina of Time, to skip the Door of Time. And that is the second essential trick. I'm going to teach the most beginner-friendly way to do this, but before that I need to describe a few basic movement options. So we already saw backwalking, but there's some other discrete options that Link can do. If you see my control stick, if I move just slightly outside of the dead zone, to the left or right, I do something called an ESS turn. And that's going to be part of the trick that I describe. But okay, so this is the reason why we got Sword and Shield as a child, to make this an easy trick. There is a way to do a precise analog stick movement to clip through this door, but we're going to use a new trick called launch storage. So the easiest way to do that is to come up to this slab, target it, and then do a crouch stab. So shield and press B to stab. Now if you target and shield, press A to do a jump slash, you're going to land on this ledge. Then we're going to hold forward and press B so that Link sort of falls off. And now he's going to have something called launch storage. So if I do another jump slash or any swinging of the sword, you're going to see that I do a little scuffle there, a little shuffle forward, compared to normally where he just sort of slashes. Okay, so let's do it again. crouch tabs, target, shield, jump slash, still shielding so we don't fall off the ledge, forward, and B. Okay, so you can put away your sword and then come up and target the Door of Time. Now you're going to do a side hop and then roll. Okay, but you're going to want to let go of the control stick of the target Z button when you do the roll so that your camera angle changes when you press Z again. Now here's the rest of the setup. We're going to do a side hop, side roll, keeping the target so that you keep the camera. Another side hop right, and then a side hop left, and another side hop roll without letting go of the target. So now Link is sort of in the corner of this tile, and the last step is to do one ESS turn right. Okay, so I'm going to just barely touch. That was 2. Okay. And that last step there was to take out my sword without swinging it. So I press B and then immediately shield to do this quick draw. And then you're going to target and do a jump slash, not holding anything on the control stick. If you do it correctly, you will clip through the Door of Time. And now we can go to ult. So obviously this skips the remainder of the child dungeons, the Dongo's Cavern, Jabu Jabu, getting the Ocarina of Time, the Song of Time to open the Door of Time. So this will save a major amount of time, and you will always want to go adult, so it's an essential trick. One thing that is nice to do and get a habit of is equipping bottle. See right when you go adult, you never know when you might need it. Okay. Let's go back to this bingo board. The adult cutscene is a few minutes long, and it's another good time to sort of plan out your route if you haven't already, and figure out the kinks of your bingo. So, when you look at a bingo board, there's a lot of goals that some are more straightforward. Getting the Goron Tunic, Saria's Song, Requiem of Spirit. Those are straight up items. But you also can see a lot of items that you might not know. Hey, where are the gold rupee chests? What do I need to get 3 Skulltulas in Water Temple? Or 5 keys in Shadow Temple? And that's sort of the fun of a bingo. You won't ever know. It's guaranteed that you'll have no idea what is going on at the beginning. And that's sort of the fun and intrigue of a bingo, is that everything's different and you always have something new to learn. But the idea of this bootcamp is to teach you the basic things that you will need to do most of these goals. So let's go back to this goal. All 5 small keys in Shadow Temple. So you have to break that down. Okay, how do I, first of all, get to the Shadow Temple? Where are the keys, and what do I need to get the small keys? And that is sort of the... Once you sort of have seen behind the curtain, then you'll know, okay, to do this, you actually need Zelda's Lullaby. And a lot of goals, I will say the first major requirement that is behind these is things that have to do with the adult trade quest and getting Zelda's Lullaby. And that's what the next major thing is going to be on this list. Reverse Bottle Adventure, RBA. With a bottle, we can unlock a lot of special items and tricks we can write into our inventory. I'll go into it more, but basically all the highlighted items here have some connection, and that they all are sort of related to what we can do with the adult trade quest and reverse bottle adventure. With these tricks, you can unlock the most amount of goals, I think. So on any board, there are some goals at first that you may want to avoid just because they are too difficult, or commonly, notoriously known as difficult goals. And there are other goals that are either straightforward or will simply be from the adult trade quest. And so my goal is to teach you enough tricks that you should be able to do at least one row on any board. In this board, for example, I could say that this is a very doable row. Nevertheless, let's take this out. We are almost to the end of the adult cutscene. Let me start talking more about reverse bottle adventure. So for the next segment of this video, we're going to be doing the adult trade quest, and each of the items in this trade quest, if we RBA them, meaning we put a bottle on our B button and we use the adult trade items in some way, I claim that we will be able to get a lot of really good items to be able to complete a bingo. And the other nice thing is that it's not very execution heavy. It's it's more of a knowledge-based thing, which Ocarina of Time is and Bingo are both very knowledge-heavy endeavors. So this is a good way to expose yourself to some of the key parts of Bingo, and again, this applies to other categories such as all dungeons. So what you learn here will apply beyond just Bingo. So there are many videos that go into the nitty-gritties of reverse bottle adventure. My focus of this video and tutorial is more to go into the practical side and sort of what are the advantages, what are the traps to worry about with reverse bottle adventure. And that's all going to start right now. The other main thing about being adult is, if you notice, on C down right now we have the bombs, but we never got bombs. The game always equips bombs whether you have them or not when you go adult. And we are going to make use of that. But what's very important, and you need to take very close attention to, is to never equip over your bombs. So that is the number one first sort of red flag or major piece of caution I will give, is that if you ever equip over bombs in this route that I'm going over, they will be gone forever. So you need to be very careful to, whenever you pause and equip things, to keep the bomb slot there. And you may wonder, okay, how's it going to work if we're never going to actually get the bombs from Dodongo's Cavern? Well, this is the first major advantage of doing RBA, is that we can actually get ourselves a real bomb bag into our inventory without ever opening the chest. And we can also make use of this icon, bombs being given to us, to get free explosives with just a bottle and a few adult trade items. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is kick off the adult trade sequence by talking again to the Cucco lady as an adult. As you enter Kakariko, we actually do need to get bugs, and again, make sure that you have a Hylian shield. If you didn't get one, go to the graveyard and pull one of the graves to get a free shield. Okay, so conveniently there are bugs here, and any bugs and fish are going to be essential for starting RBA. Another thing to note throughout all this is that this has been in Japanese. Japanese is the fastest language that's accessible to play this game, just because the text goes a lot faster. Other things I didn't mention, if you are getting set up, I'm actually playing this on Dolphin Emulator right now so that you can see my controls. There's also a practice ROM, GZ, that is worth downloading to practice the tricks that I'll be doing so that you can improve really quickly. If you do need help, I also recommend joining the Ocarina of Time speedrunning Discord, as well as the Ocarina of Time Bingo Discord, to be able to ask questions about setup, tricks, or how to complete a bingo. The community is super welcoming. If you happen to stream any bingo attempt, oftentimes people come in and help you out. There are also sort of tools and guides that can tell you the requirements and tricks for doing particular goals, what you need, how to get there, videos and things. So we just went to Ganon's Castle. We reset and went to Ganon's Castle, which seems kind of weird, but actually if you enter Ganon's Castle, it'll always set it to night, and the first part of the trade sequence is to hatch the egg. So this is actually slightly faster than simply walking out of Kakariko and waiting. But so it's now nighttime, and we are going to set up a reverse bottle adventure. To do that, we need to get a bottle on our B button. So to do that, we are going to come over here to this little area. It's not too precise. Where sort of this green and white part is by Link's head. You're going to do one crouch stab, and you're going to let out your bugs. So this part's going to be a little time sensitive before the bugs burrow. But you're going to do one more slash, and you're going to do bottle and shield to take out the bottle. Then you're going to side hop into the water. So this is the first frame. There's a couple frames where you want to press B and enter the water. I'm going to hold shield, bottle, and let go of the shield, that's going to swing a bottle. And now I got a bottle on my B button. So I caught bugs in the B button with an empty bottle on C right. This wrote a bottle to my third slot. So the next thing we're going to do is to actually put RBA again, but now with bombs on C right. And so you saw I did a kind of a tricky way to move the bombs without actually equipping them again. We don't want to do that. And now, if you pause again, you'll see we have bugs on the B button. So I'm going to put this here, this here, this here. So this is sort of the setup I like to have for my equips with RBA. Okay, so how did that work? So what happened was we took out the sword, and then we took out the bottle, and we jumped into the water, and we took out the sword as we entered this water. So it actually put away the sword, but it made our last press button B. Then we could swing our bottle actually by holding shield, the bottle button, and letting go of shield. So that actually swung the bottle, and it put a bottle over our last press button, which was B, the sword button. All right, so now the Cucco's hatched, and we're going to, again, RBA. The most important thing, I totally failed to mention this, is that when you RBA, what is most important is what is on your C right button. So in all of this, what's mattered is that I had a bottle or bombs or the Cucco on my C right button. And as you saw, when I dropped the bugs with Cucco and C right, I got the wallet. So now I actually have the adult wallet. I can carry 200 rupees. And then when you caught, you saw that the gauntlets on Link's hands turned to, they sort of look like gold gauntlets, but they're black. And these are actually real gauntlets that have the strength of the gold gauntlets. So that is something that RBA already got us. But there's actually, to most things in RBA, there's a trap. There's some things that you have to be very careful about because it'll give you things. RBA will give it and it'll take it. And so when we RBA'd with that chicken, it actually would have deleted any other diving upgrade like the silver scale or any bullet bag that we had. Okay, so we had Cojiro now, the blue chicken. And this is another essential item to RBA. So RBAing Cojiro with bugs is going to give us a real bomb bag. We can now carry 40 bombs, and it's also going to give us a weird glitched quiver. So depending on actually what you catch or drop, you can actually get different things. On that board I was looking at before, the bomb bag 30 goal is something you can get by dropping Cojiro. And the quiver 40 is something you can also get with Cojiro. So now we're going to get the hook shot, and we also have the ability to get real bombs now. The combination of having something on the inventory slot will let us get drops, and RB and Cojiro gave us a bomb bag. So I can check my inventory now. It's a little glitched, but you can actually see that the bomb bag 40 is really there. And there's some weird other icons here. Those aren't real. So already we're seeing that some of the first items of the trade quest are giving us super essential items. And this is sort of just like a coincidence of the game and how the memory works. So we are getting the hookshot next. And before that, I like to farm 15 bombs just because explosives are super useful to have. There's also some money in this other pot, so that can come in handy. Okay, so with that pay, just kind of follow the path, try not to get hit by the flames. Sometimes it's unavoidable. I think the most important thing is to make sure you have at least more than one heart by the end of the race. We're going to be trying to void at the end to get back to the entrance. And that's going to take away a heart. I'm getting pretty unlucky. So throughout all of this trade quest, we're going to want to keep the bugs on B. It's okay if that goes away. For instance, if you have to save warp or die, you'll either have a stick or the master sword or even an empty B button. You can always double save warp to get the master sword back, so that's you'll never lose the master sword unless you're really trying. But throughout all this, we want to keep a bottle on the B button so that we can keep RBing things up until the Poacher saw. So we're going to be doing a few more steps of the trade quest after we get the hookshot here. The hookshot, of course, is a super useful item. It's always good to have, and it's right on our way. Alright, so once you get the hookshot, you can target this chest. It's a little setup for the crush. You're going to do 2 side hops. After the second one, you're going to want to side hop right immediately so that you are back on this wrong side of the door. Okay, so we're back up here, and now it's time to continue the trade quest. I personally like to bomb this for more bombs and also potentially health. So we got neither of them. That's okay. We'll just play it a little safe so that we don't die. So now we're going to make our way to the Lost Woods to trade in Cojiro. The fastest way to go is actually through Hyrule Field. So we can make our way around. Back walking everywhere is totally fine. There's no need to make it more complicated than it needs to be. If you do want to add a little bit of spice to your trade quest, you can come over here and do a mega side hop into the water. And, you know, if you fail it, it's okay too. It's also a good opportunity to equip the hookshot, which we'll need later. So I'm making my way over to the Lost Woods. You do want to be careful with the B button, you know, while you have bottle on B. When you're mashing text, you want to be careful not to accidentally drop things before you trade them in. Okay, this guy is going to be following me. We got a little friend. So the mega side hop that you can do there into the water to get a little water extended super slide is done by dropping a bomb, shield dropping a bomb, rolling, backflipping, and then rolling into the explosion. I'll also go for it when we go on the next trip. Okay, so the guy that we need to trade in Cojiro to is right up here in the Lost Woods. You can hookshot this to make it up here a little faster. So again, I'd be very careful not to spam the B button too much, so that you don't accidentally delete something that you don't mean to. Okay, now we have the odd mushroom, and we're going to go back to Kakariko to trade it in. This time we'll go through Goron City. Just being careful of my health here, because again I don't want to die. Also, if you die with the odd mushroom, you will have Cojiro again and need to go back. So good to be extra careful. You can hookshot this, and you'll clip through it. So the odd mushroom, when you RBA, it actually points to the heart piece count, and it'll always set it to 1. So before this I didn't have any heart pieces. You'll see that I now have 1 heart piece. Let me also save here. When you're doing RBA, it's definitely a smart thing to save warp where necessary. So let me also get this heart piece for health, but you'll now see I have 2 heart pieces, even though I only ever got 1. So again, this highlights the sort of pros and cons of RBA. It's great responsibility, great power and great responsibility. If you have more than 1 heart piece, it will always set it to be 1, so you can use it for a freebie, but also you have to be careful. So you can do a little jump there to get over to Granny's shop faster. Otherwise, you can just walk through the mart there. And now you can trade in the mushroom. This will give us the odd potion, and it again is going to be somewhat useful in some circumstances to RBA. And it never hurts to RBA the odd potion, because it will give you the spiritual stones and the Song of Time, which is helpful if you are doing a songs goal. That's a free song. What you have to be careful about with this is it will delete the Song of Storms. So if you are RBing the odd potion, you want to make sure to get Song of Storms afterwards if you do need it. So off we go again. I'm going to try to do the west over to the Lost Woods now. But again, as you saw, it's really not a big deal to just walk over. We just come over here to this position. She'll drop a bomb. Then you hold the ESS position, the same thing that you did for the Door of Time skip. You can sort of see it's right outside of the dead zone, but one thing that some people can do, I did when I started, is you can just push your thumb against the control stick in one direction to get the really fine position there. Okay, so let's RBA with the odd potion on C right and check out what it does to our equip screen. So now we now have the 3 spiritual stones and the Song of Time. You do want to be careful not to RBA too many things at once, because bugs will burrow if you drop them before like 10 seconds or the previous ones have buried. Alright, so the Poacher Saw. This is the almighty thing that will give us more songs, some of the most useful songs in the game. So this will give us the Prelude of Light, Nocturne, Serenade, and importantly, Zelda's Lullaby. It will delete Saria's Song, Epona's Song, and Sun's Song, so you have to be careful with that, and it'll also delete Requiem of Spirit if you happen to have it. Okay, so now that we've done that, we can actually move on to the next step, and I've just caught, when you have a caught item and bugs in your hand, you can actually use them as an ocarina by backflipping and pressing the bottle button followed by another cutscene item, or another item, non-cutscene item. So hookshot, bomb, sword. And we are going to do the next thing on our list, which is Early Shadow Temple. So there are ways to get into Shadow Temple from right here, which are actually quite good bomb push methods. So the goal is going to be to get in there through that door. What I'm going to teach is going to be a method that's more versatile to other ways that you may be getting into Shadow Temple in a bingo. And this may be after you get the hook shot. This is sort of my general model, is to avoid cluttering your brain. It's good to sort of learn one trick which is versatile to many situations. This is also a good patch to farm rupees. Okay, so we're going to climb back onto this ledge up there using something called the hookshot jump. So we need to take out the hookshot and turn 90 degrees. To turn 90 degrees, actually, there's 2 ways you could do that. You could just flick. There's many ways. You could flick. You could ESS turn. Or you could shield, hold left, let go shield. Either way works. So we're going to back walk to this wall. Do a side hop right. And then a roll and hold up. And also spam the hookshot button. Okay, let's do that again, faster now so I don't fail it. Okay, so now Link is sort of in this weird camera stage where the hookshot's coming out and it's already come out twice. And now you're going to be pausing for the 3rd time. Okay, so I just did something there called pause buffering, where you can let frames advance by just pressing the pause button and unpausing. This is the first frame where Link's sort of holding out the hookshot, and you see the red dot. Let me sort of do that again so I can show pause buffering as well. So turn, back walk, side hop, hold up, spam the button, and then count to 3. 1, 2 swings, and now you're sort of looking for the hat. You can look at the bottom of the hat, of Link's hat, to be sort of intersecting the middle of the Hylian shield crest. Okay, so we're on the first frame, and in the unpause lag, we're going to press the hookshot button. Then hold down. You should be on the ledge. So we do about 6 side hops, and then this guy should form, and we're going to do the next major trick, infinite sword glitch. So what you did there is you interrupted a stab, a crouch stab, with a target and C up. It's also something you can do with Navi, okay? But you get more tries with the enemy. So now we are going to, the infinite sword glitch, as the name suggests, means that we are always going to be swinging our sword. We also take care of this guy so he doesn't annoy us. And it'll mean that we won't be able to fall off this ledge. That's the main important part about it. The annoying thing, though, is that you can get stuck on this. So you can backflip, side hop. I got kind of lucky there. You want to carefully move along this ledge here, using the hookshot to aim to the right spots so you don't fall and get stuck in some sticky situations. So you can navigate over here, and then you want to be over this door. Let the camera pan up. Turn right, hold right, and side hop off, and then we should be passing the loading zone and able to enter the Shadow Temple. And now we are free to get the hover boots. That's why we are in the Shadow Temple. The hover boots are a super helpful item that'll help us cross gaps and hover, so they're a super helpful item. So with Zelda's Lullaby as well, we are able to complete, say, the 5 small keys in Spirit Temple now. I also like to get the nuts and heart in these pots before we go over to the mini-boss. Dead hand. For this fight, you can jump into these hands and sort of get caught. I got a lucky position here. So you want to do a crouch stab after a jump slash, a slash. And then you want to wait a bit longer, actually, before doing a second slash, but it's all good. That's another trick I didn't explain before, is the power crouch stab. Your crouch stab will store the value of the last attack you did. In this case, it was the jump slash, which is twice as powerful as a normal slash. And yeah, and we have the hover boots. So usually I didn't do this before. I like to keep my equips in a nice comfy way, where I have maybe bottle, hookshot, and bombs. Again, extra careful not to equip over bombs, using this opportunity to save, any opportunity to save, so that you can reset and if anything goes wrong. So I'm going to do the ocarina items again, where you catch something in a bottle, you do a backflip, press the bottle button, and now we're going to head over to the Spirit Temple. This is the final trick I'll be going over, is how to get to the Spirit Temple. There's a lot of helpful things over there. There's the Requiem of Spirit, the items in Spirit Temple, Nehru's Love. One other is another kind of optional thing. You can do a mega flip, mega side hop. So I'm having bad timing here. You want to be rolling into this explosion before it explodes. And then if you hold the ESS position, you'll exit the water with the same speed that you had. Again, sort of an optional thing, but I've sort of been hinting at this mega flip because we will be needing it in the future, the next upcoming trick here. These are more bushes that are nice to farm. And now we're going to head over to Gerudo Valley. So you can see now that RBA is done that it sort of sets us up with a lot of really useful items that are going to be applicable in a lot of bingo rows. So there are ways to get explosives and to get all these things not through RBA. Through getting Bomb Chews and Zelda's Lullaby from Child Zelda. But this method sets you up with a lot of other comfy things. So we have the Warp Songs, we have the Strength, we have a 40 bomb bag, we have a wallet, we have a quiver, we have the Song of Time. We have all of these nice accessories basically that can make your bingo go a lot smoother. And it also sort of takes care of the more difficult long goal of your row, being focused to setting up this all of these things. We're now in Gerudo Valley, so that bridge right there is the main obstacle that we first need to overcome. And this is where the hover boots that we just got are going to come in handy. So we are going to need to do a mega side hop again. So the idea is you want to be somewhere on this upper part before the stairs. So I can do a couple of rolls here. Take out a bomb, shield, do a bunch of shields here, so it will you'll do a normal roll and sort of wait. You want to wait for close to the bomb to explode. So let's do this again. Okay, so we rolled into the explosion, then side hopped either direction. And now we sort of have this long side hop over the ledge. Equip the hover boots and just hold down. And you should grab the ledge, comfortably make it over. And that's all you need to know. So the mega side hop, it's not as bad as I'm making it look. It's with many things in this game, just something that you need the muscle memory of. I wouldn't pause buffer that trick. I'd just sort of play around for a bit. Roll into the bomb right before it explodes. You can look at the counting flashes or the sound of the bomb, whatever works for you. So now we're in the Gerudo Fortress, and we have another obstacle to get past, which is the gate. Since we don't want to get the Gerudo card, we're going to actually get caught here to get put into the jail. So the way I'm going to explain to get past this gate is another new method, which requires sort of just a small setup, but it's easier, I would say, than the alternative. Okay, so we want to get up here. You can clip through that little area in a not so precise region, and you want to come over to this box, target it, do a horizontal slash, untargeted, turn to 90 degrees to the right, and do one ESS turn to the right, hold target, and pull out a bomb. Now you're going to want to pause buffer to the second damage frame. So it's going to explode, it's going to soon hit Link, and then we're going to look for the second frame that Link gets hit. That's the first frame, that's the second frame when he puts it on his foot. So now you're going to equip Hover Boots, and out of unpause, hold target and left. So you're going to want to wait until the end and then side hop. And then you should land over on this ground here, which has collision. And then you want to make your way over to the Wasteland, which you can do by simply rolling through this wall. And this is the bingo tradition. Fuck that sign. Alright, so now we have to cross the Wasteland, which is an intimidating thing, but there are a lot of videos for how to actually cross this without the Lens of Truth. The first thing is, fortunately, we have hover boots, which make crossing that quicksand straightforward. And then you want to unequip them and first do this first section. So what I like to do is roll forward past the flagpole with the sign, and then basically you see the mini-map in the bottom right. Most of them are, you want to stay on the inside of the poles, but they're going to mostly be, you can mostly hold up. So I'm just looking, and if they're too far away, you can actually do a quick spin, and it'll increase your visibility a little bit. Okay, so once you get to this middle area, you're going to want to keep going forward and then go down this hill. The first part of this second section, which is harder, is to go down this hill past, once you change slopes, so this line right here, Once you're in this section, you want to turn left so that you're facing like 90 degrees left. And then you want to continue on this section, down this little section. Once you start going up, then you want to cross over to the left side of this slope and basically go to the top, but be a little bit further down. So these areas all over here past the slope are going to be void out areas. I like to go over here and then aim for the, you can sort of see that there's sort of like a mini gradient on the far side. So there's that box over there, and then on the slopes nearby, there's like some gradients of light, like this strip right here. So I like to aim for this strip right here. Once you see levers, that's another good sign. You want to keep sort of heading in this general direction that you were facing when you went to that little segment. Avoid this dip for a little bit, and then you can cross over, go through the goalpost, and you will be through. So the reason I like to include Spirit Temple in this list is because there's a lot of goals that are either in Spirit Temple, require you to visit all the dungeons, and Shadow and Spirit Temple are the hardest to get to. And there's also some long goals that require you to come out to Spirit, like 10 songs. Or 2 fairy spells. So Nehru's Love is right to my left right now, but I'm just going to backwalk over to the Spirit Temple. So from here, you know, I didn't do a particular bingo row in particular, but these should be the essential tricks that you sort of need to know. I claim, and you can, you know, cross-reference me if I'm wrong, that you should be able to do pretty much one row with all these tricks in mind. You may not know the specifics, but someone will be able to help you, and if you know these things, it'll be a major help. So again, you know, RBA is super helpful. I have strength to be able to push this block, to be able to go into deeper in Spirit Temple. I have Zelda's Lullaby to be able to get things in the temple, such as the compass to my left. And, you know, I have other things like the Song of Time, which can help me get a Skulltula here. So you can all see how this starts to come together. Various goals just have various sub-requirements, and bingo is really just figuring those out and learning on the fly, being adaptable, learning strats, putting them together in a race setting or casual setting, whatever you please. So my next step here is probably to break these 5 tricks into separate videos. I'll be including lots of links in the description, and so hopefully this can serve as an opening first exposure to bingo for a lot of people. My hope is to have more people playing as a way to learn Ocarina of Time, learn speedrunning in a less stressful way that can be fun and, you know, flexible. So thank you for watching. That's going to do it for this video. Feel free to reach out with any questions, and I hope to see you in another video.